Jessica Jones joins the Avengers and marries Captain America this week on Comic History. What's up guys, Roman from R&S Entertainment here, and welcome to another episode of Comic History, the weekly video series where I explain, retell, and give context to the iconic storylines, origins, and events in the world of comics. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about another one of Marvel's What If series, a title consisting of one-shot storylines exploring what would have happened if key, usually specific events in Marvel's ongoing main 616 continuity had played out differently, offering a chance to tell stories and explore ideas that you could probably never do in the main universe. In What If Jessica Jones Had Joined the Avengers, written by Brian Michael Bendis, we see the far-reaching ramifications of Jessica Jones accepting the Avengers' offer to join as a S.H.I.E.L.D. liaison following them beating her into a coma after her months of mind-controlled torture by Purple Man. I've covered this entire story and Jessica Jones' history with the Purple Man in my Jessica Jones vs. Purple Man episode of Comic History, along with the origin of Jessica Jones in its own episode. So if you're interested in learning more about the character or seeing one of the more twisted Marvel stories of all time, go check those episodes out as well. Our story begins at a tiny diner with a pregnant Jessica Jones arguing with the waiter over what kind of tuna was on the menu. Now, if you've watched some of my previous episodes on Marvel What Ifs, you know that most of the time, not always, but often, the stories will be narrated by, or at least introduced by, the all-seeing, omniscient, cosmic Marvel being Uatu the Watcher, or some form of him. But in What If Jessica Jones Had Joined the Avengers, by Jessica Jones creator Brian Michael Bendis, the narrator is of course Brian Michael Bendis, who appears in the comic as a patron of the diner. Leaning over to the guy next to him, Bendis tells him that even though you'd never know it by looking at her, the girl behind them was a superhero, and that people may have even heard of her if she hadn't quit, with her superhero career being cut tragically short before it ever really began. Bendis then recounts the events of Jessica Jones' origin, which parallels classic superhero origins to create the stark contrast between her promising generic beginning as superhero Jewel to her future as a washed up, knocked up, damaged private detective. Bendis continues on to talk about Jessica's first encounter with Purple Man, who proceeded to mind control her and keep her as a pet and semi-sex toy / personal superhero bodyguard, until eventually in an irrational rage he had ordered her to kill Daredevil, leading to the mind-fogged Jessica accidentally attacking Scarlet Witch instead. The Avengers, fresh out of a conflict with the Defenders, had seen her as a supervillain threat and attacked her full force, proceeding to beat her into a literal coma. Jessica woke up weeks later, a failed superhero cautionary tale, a victim of something that could have happened to any superhero, but it only happened to her. The Avengers and Defenders, ashamed at having reacted with such unnecessary force, offer Jessica a position on the Avengers as an official S.H.I.E.L.D. liaison, including living quarters at Avengers Tower and a family and team of peers to support her. Jaded and bitter, Jessica sees the offer as a payoff and turns them down, walking away from her life as a superhero and following down the path that leads her down a descent into alcoholism and obscurity to her eventual rematch with Kilgrave. Bendis then ruminates on Jessica's life following that, going into the Jessica Jones sequel series The Pulse, which was amazing, where she becomes pregnant with Luke Cage's baby and takes a job at the Daily Bugle working for J. Jonah Jameson, and then says that he can't help but wonder what would have happened if she had joined the Avengers. This time, following the offer, Jessica refuses just like she does in main continuity, but Captain America catches up to her outside and tells her that after the Avengers had found him, they had given him a home and a purpose, and that they could do the same for her. He says that they could use her help, and that both Carol Danvers and Nick Fury think the world of her, walking away saying that he hopes she'll reconsider. The next day, Jessica shows up at Avengers Mansion, with the gates opening for her automatically on voice recognition, to which Jessica takes off her shades and smirks at. Over the next few months, Jessica would slip into the role she was always born to play, going from a S.H.I.E.L.D. liaison to a full-fledged member of the Avengers. She works through her social anxiety and self-loathing and finds a family she never knew she needed. Eventually, it becomes somewhat of a running joke that Jessica was the only Avenger who didn't know she was an Avenger, as she would always insist that she was only there to help them and would not take part in being a superhero, right up until there was real danger and she would always jump in to help. During a fight with the Squadron Supreme, which is Marvel's parody of DC Comics' Justice League, Jessica saves Cap from a fall and tumbles into the woods with him, ending up laying on top of him with both of them sharing a little moment before rejoining the fight. Jessica remains present on the Avengers during the lead-in to Avengers Disassembled, which in main Marvel continuity began Bendis' run on Avengers and destroyed the previous team, with Wanda Maximoff, aka the Scarlet Witch, losing touch with reality and descending into madness, murdering several Avengers and altering reality itself. In this reality, Jessica, having gone through issues and problems of her own, notices Wanda's issues before anyone else, leading to the Avengers getting her help from Doctor Strange and Professor Xavier, and effectively preventing Avengers Disassembled. Captain America tells Jessica that it's so great she was there, that she had been right about Wanda and prevented a potential disaster. He says that Jessica is so special and doesn't even realize it, and that he was fond of her. When she laughs at him using the word fond, he asks what people say nowadays when they want to kiss someone, and Jessica pushes her hair back and says she thinks they just do it. This kiss leads to Jessica and Steve falling in love, finding something in each other that they had both given up on finding, getting married before all of their friends and family, and living mostly happily ever after. We then go back to the shitty diner, with Jessica pregnant and still barely managing to make it through her life, with Bendis just saying that it would have been nice. And that wraps up What If Jessica Jones Had Joined the Avengers, which personally, as a huge fan of comic book Jessica Jones in both her original series Alias and the sequel series The Pulse, I really enjoy. It's such a great idea for a What If book, and having Bendis write it was 100% necessary. Bendis is a writer who has been widely and justifiably criticized for many reasons, and in my personal opinion at this point has done more damage than he's made good stories. But in the past, with characters like Jessica Jones, series like Alias, The Pulse, and others, there have been books written by Bendis that hold up as seminal great Marvel comics. As such a big Jessica Jones fan, I really liked seeing what Jessica would have been like if she had accepted other people's help, worked on her issues, and gotten her life together. And the fact that she could have had a storybook ending makes her harsh reality all the more potent. That's her entire character, a damaged result of bad circumstance and bad decision making. Someone with so much potential that they never really lived up to. Like I said before, if you're interested in Jessica Jones, definitely check out my other episodes on her, and make sure to check out the Marvel What If playlist and the Comic History playlist on my channel for more stories like this. If you enjoyed this video or learned something new, make sure to give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, and subscribe to RNS Entertainment for weekly content. Also, make sure to follow all of my social media via the links in the description box below, and if you want to support the channel and help me keep making these videos, go consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/RNS Entertainment. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you all next time.